So someone reached out to me on Facebook and asked me about using a pendulum, if I ever use a pendulum to help my lawyers quit smoking, and my answer is absolutely not. Now, I'm not going to say whether the pendulum is a good thing or a bad thing, and maybe not a lot of people know about this, but a pendulum is basically a device that you could have your client hold on to, have them sit on a chair, have them, dangle the pendulum down so it will swing either left or right or backwards and forwards on an angle or something like that. And you would essentially assign an answer to that pendulum. So an example of this would be like, if I'm working with a smoker or something like that, sitting in the chair, they're holding the pendulum, I might say, all right, unconscious mind, give me a sign for yes. And just out of the small movements that we as human beings are having all the time, the pendulum spins left, which means that's a yes, and I might get a no answer, whatever it is. I'm essentially training that pendulum with hopefully my client in trance at that point. Then I might say to the unconscious mind, as in I'm talking to the pendulum, because that's the unconscious mind in action, I might say, are you ready for this client to quit smoking? And I might get a yes or a no or an anger or something like that. Then I might say, are you ready to have this client quit smoking now? Or in a week's time, a day time, a month time? I'm essentially, it's supposed to be saying, if I ask the pendulum a question, which is the unconscious mind, I should get an answer. And I have to assign an answer to the angle that that pendulum spins around. A lot of information there. But here's the problem, guys. If you're talking to a pendulum or even asking a client, it's unconscious mind, when are you ready to quit smoking? What are you doing? We're back to that old thing I talk about all the time. You're asking about the symptom. When a client sits down and is a smoker, that is the symptom. So why the hell would I have the unconscious mind give up on the symptom? Because if they get rid of the symptom, another one's just going to come along. Get rid of that one, another one's just come along. Why? Because I need root cause. So I'm not going to use a pendulum to ask my client anything. We can do this without the pendulum by asking the right question, looking for conscious and unconscious information. Realize this, guys, the unconscious mind is quite a deceiving part of a person. Why? Because if it doesn't want to talk about a certain bit of information, it doesn't feel like you or the client can handle it, it'll lock that stuff up. It'll lock that stuff away, it'll lock it off. The unconscious mind, in my eyes, has no reason to give me that information and can possibly lie to me to get me going into another path. So I avoid asking those questions again. This way, you're going to get really good at training yourself to understand conscious information versus unconscious information. And a pendulum is just not enough. So it could be a pendulum for helping a client overcome anxiety or weight issues. Are you ready to let go of these weight issues? You're ready to let go of that trauma, and you have the pendulum spin for a yes. What are you doing? You're talking about the symptom. So would I use it personally? No. Have I seen it being used successfully? I've actually seen therapists use it. I've seen it at seminars. Same thing. It's all about the symptom. But again, you're welcome to try these things. Just be aware that whatever problem your client tells you is a symptom. So getting a pendulum to spin yes or no to overcome the symptom is absolutely pointless. But again, just my opinion. Either way, as long as it works with your client, I'm happy. But if you are using a pendulum, let me know in the comments below. Let me know your success or failures with it. I'd love to know. But all in all, guys, remember, always go back to basic principles. There's no point using a pendulum to ask my client if they're ready to quit smoking now or in the future, because it's all symptoms. So no, I do not use a pendulum at any time.